America's biggest tariff attack on China. 245% duty and Trump's explosive strategy. Have you ever heard of a trade war where the impact of taxes is more dangerous than weapons? Have you ever imagined that the halt of just one aircraft delivery could shake the economies of two superpowers? And what if, in a single stroke, thousands of industries in a country are pushed to the brink of shutdown? Today, we are going to tell you a story where both the hero and the villain are global superpowers. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an update. Let's dive straight in. This is not just a trade dispute between the US and China. It's a battle for global dominance. And the next chapter has already been written with the announcement of a massive 245% tariff. This time, what Trump has done is being considered one of the most aggressive and severe trade offensives ever. The US has decided to impose a 245% reciprocal duty on Chinese goods, an amount several times higher than any recent tariff policy. This means if a product costs $100 in the US, it will now be taxed at $245. Just imagine, the US is preparing to push Chinese companies out of its market entirely. According to the White House, this step was taken in retaliation to China's countermeasures, particularly its halt on accepting Boeing aircraft deliveries from the US. The collapse of the Boeing deal isn't just a routine event. It was not only worth billions of dollars for America's aerospace industry, but also represented a fragile thread in US-China relations. But as soon as China instructed its aviation companies to stop receiving deliveries from Boeing, America's response was swift and sharp. Trump wrote clearly on his social media platform Truth Social, China is no longer a reliable partner for trade with the US. Along with this, Trump took another major step by signing an executive order directing an investigation into the import of strategic minerals into the United States. These minerals aren't just used for industrial purposes. They play a critical role in jet engines, missiles, radars, and supercomputing. The US claims that reliance on China for these minerals has now become a national security threat. This means the issue has gone beyond trade. It's now a matter of security and self-reliance. China, in response, hit back hard. It raised its own tariffs to 125% and knocked on the doors of the WTO, World Trade Organization. China accuses the US of violating global trade rules by repeatedly increasing tariffs. Additionally, it has alleged that the US is restricting exports of strategic minerals like gallium, germanium, and antimony. China's message is clear. If the US tries to corner it, it's ready to unleash its own arsenal. In the midst of this tariff war, China has made a significant appointment. 𝐮𝐸𝐿 has been named China's international trade representative at the Ministry of Commerce. Li has prior experience representing China at the WTO and is known as a tough but tactful strategist. This clearly signals that China wants to send a negotiator to the table who can match the US in strategy and counter its moves effectively. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt issued a statement saying President Trump is still open to a trade deal with China, but only if Beijing makes the first move. The US wants China to speak directly with Trump and clearly indicate whether it wants to end or escalate the tariff war. But signals from China seem to suggest the opposite. Zhong Guangyao, former Vice Finance Minister of China, told the media that if the US expects China to accept all its proposals without question, then no dialogue is possible. He also mentioned that talks are ongoing between the two sides, but such conversations are pointless unless mutual interests are respected. China, he emphasized, is not in the mood to negotiate under pressure. It wants to sit at the table as an equal. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has also strongly criticized the US strategy. Spokesperson 𝐮𝐩𝐥𝐸𝐴 stated clearly, if the United States truly wants to resolve this dispute through dialogue, it must abandon its policy of pressure. Trade runs on mutual trust, not threats. This statement makes it evident that China is now firmly committed to a no-yield policy. This tariff war is no longer just a battle over numbers. It has escalated into an economic Cold War, where both countries are locked in conflict over industrial interests, strategic minerals, and technological dominance. What makes this conflict even more dangerous is that it's not limited to just the US and China. It threatens the entire global supply chain. If Chinese goods become more expensive in the US, American companies will be forced to either find new suppliers or bring production back home. This could result in higher inflation within the US, but Trump's focus isn't on short-term inflation. His main goal is to bring China to its knees. He believes that only relentless pressure will force China to bend. On the other hand, China isn't sitting idle either. It has already imposed restrictions on the export of minerals like gallium and germanium, critical elements for the global electronics, defense, and green energy industries. China is currently the world's largest exporter of these minerals, and if it curtails their supply, it could trigger a major crisis for the US tech sector. In this war, India's role could become increasingly important. As the US searches for alternative suppliers, India has the potential to emerge as a reliable partner, especially in sectors like electronics, pharmaceuticals, and technology. However, India must strike a delicate balance, as China remains one of its largest trading partners. The key question now is whether this tariff war will head toward a resolution, or if it will spiral into a full-blown global economic crisis. While diplomatic teams from both countries are engaged in dialogue, a real solution will only come when political will and mutual understanding work hand in hand. America's 245% tariff sends a clear message: no more concessions, only pressure. And China's reply is equally sharp: no more bending, only confrontation. Who will win, who will back down, and who will suffer the most, only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the entire world now holds its breath, watching every next move of these two giants.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.